Between tonight and tomorrow, efforts and energies start waning. You feel the stomach's getting heavier, your mind's getting slower, the yawns are getting longer, right? Because we're getting tired of sleeping. But these are the days. Allah is witnessing those who continue to strive. Pay attention to your brothers and sisters and make sure that you continue to show up, inshallah. Tomorrow night, for indeed it is narrated by the Prophet ﷺ that Allah looks on the last night before Eid and sees those that are continuing to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. And those in particular who have put the effort throughout the month and showed up continuously, consistently, will be chosen by Allah Azza wa Jalla. And Allah will be saying that, oh my creation, all my angels bear witness that those servants, those my servants, have been forgiven completely. Indeed, as if they're newly born. Make sure you come back tomorrow. In my khatiras, in my reflections between tonight and tomorrow, here's what I want to do, dear brothers and sisters. The fundamental question that is coming to all of us is, after Ramadan, look at all this provision you've built up and acquired. It's not the physical food, it's the spiritual food, the provision. That unfortunately, at the sound of the takbirs of Eid, we kind of lose or start squandering, not understanding that this is an energy and a provision that should carry us for the rest of the year. What does it take, dear brothers and sisters, to keep us going and to keep this Iman at this high? Just as you witnessed that your Iman rose to the levels that it rose to, because of your efforts, isn't it true? You had to strive, you had to struggle, you had to roll up your sleeves, you had to sleep less, you had to wake up in the morning, you had to stand here until 12:15 a.m. to please Allah Azza wa Jalla. Why do you think the effort should be any different after Ramadan? That indeed can this Iman be nurtured without effort? Indeed not, dear brothers and sisters. Allah chose for it to be the fundamental law governing our universe. That indeed with striving you shall see fruits. What are those things that we need to do? Tonight, dear brothers and sisters, I'll focus on one beautiful thing. And tomorrow, inshallah, don't miss it. Because I'm going to talk about two fundamental things, inshallah, that would sustain us after the month of Ramadan. And they're going to be hovering around the book of Allah and community. Because I can share with you all kinds of things that you can say and do right now, individually, and you might remember them now and forget them tomorrow. But what is the thing that can sustain us? SubhanAllah, it's the hope of Allah and the community. Tomorrow I'll comment on that, inshallah. Dear brothers and sisters, tonight I'll share with you a glorious act, quality, of those seeking to be with Allah. And we heard in the first or second rak'ahs, I forgot. وَالَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ. Oh my goodness, dear brothers and sisters, those believers, may Allah count us among them and grant us that feeling. The fundamental thing that is filling their hearts is this hope of meeting Allah. That's the thing that guides us. That's why we're here, dear brothers and sisters. And by Allah instilled it in your heart. That means He wants to give you that beautiful gift. And there is no gift, not even Jannah, is like seeing Allah Azza wa Jalla and being with Him. May Allah instill that hope in all of our hearts and let it resonate and reside in our hearts until the last breath in our lives. Allahumma ameen. This is the quality of the believers, dear brothers and sisters, those that are seeking to be the highest of the high. And Allah calls them in the Quran as-sabiqun, those who are the forerunners. There are different categories. We strive for the best in our lives, in our jobs, in our education. We're constantly racing to accumulate things in life, to pile up things in our lives, to be ahead of other people and to compete with them and to show off with our cars, homes, weddings, the number of children, all kinds of things that we try to show off with. And Allah is saying, why don't you show off and compete in the best of the best, to be among the forerunners? And when it really counts, it's with Allah Azza wa Jalla. And Allah Azza wa Jalla in Surah Al-Zumar called them, dear brothers and sisters, the groups, the categories of people that will be grouped together in the hereafter. Allah will group you with others based on your deeds. Allah will look at the best of deeds that you have, and that deed will be your marker. That deed will be the unique identifier, and you'll be grouped amongst others, with others who are sharing that beautiful quality or deed with you. I want to ask you, just as I've done a couple of weeks ago, what is that deed that you're so proud of, that you feel Allah blessed you with? Is it something in your heart? Is it something in your mouth? Is it you standing up at night? Is it your relationship with the Quran? Is it you taking care of your relatives, your mother? Is it you building the home of Allah? What is that thing that you feel good about, that Allah blessed you with, Allah will elevate you with that deed. SubhanAllah, dear brothers and sisters. And tonight I want to share with you a glorious act that is so appropriate, that is so significant for us to do at the end of the month of Ramadan, so that our acts in the month of Ramadan are purified. Because indeed in the month of Ramadan, even though we tried hard, we had our shortcomings, haven't we? Dear brothers and sisters, Allah has instructed the Prophet ﷺ in the last juz. He says, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. What a beautiful conclusion to the life of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This surah came to him right before his death as a glad tidings. What did it say? See, the Prophet ﷺ worked very hard. He didn't have any single day where he rested. There is no weekend for the Prophet ﷺ. And he's our example and role model. And he's our teacher. And he is the light that Allah bestowed on this earth. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah tells him, because he was so worried about creation coming to the word of Allah, many of them were not listening. Many of them are rebelling. And Allah says, don't worry. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ. In fact, when the great help of Allah comes, and it will come. It will come. You put an effort, you will see the great help of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And what is He talking about? Allah is talking about conquests. He's talking about the conquest of Mecca that took place without violence, without even a weapon being raised. And when the Prophet ﷺ conquered Mecca, dear brothers and sisters, he humbled himself and lowered his head so that it doesn't get to his head. Out of humility for Allah Azza wa Jalla as a conqueror. And you know what is the ultimate conquest? Where the human beings that you conquer, quote unquote, love you and follow you, all of them, their heart will be open for the Prophet ﷺ. Have you ever seen a conqueror like this? And where no weapon was raised, Allah is telling him, it's coming. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. And you'll see people coming into this faith in crowds and crowds and crowds and crowds because it's the will of Allah. What should you do then? Listen to this. And it's an act you need to do at the end of any great thing you do for Allah. And we have witnessed this month and worshiped Allah. It's a great activity and practice. Great worship. What should you do at the end? It is what the Prophet ﷺ was instructed to do when he witnesses the mercy of Allah and he does his striving. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah says, Sabbih, right away. Tonight we need to be doing it. Tomorrow, into Eid, every single day of our life. Sabbih, declare the perfection of your Lord. That's the thing we live for, dear brothers and sisters. To declare it with our tongues, our hearts, our being, our presence, our movement, our energy, everything. It's about declaring the perfection of Allah and being aware of it. And sabbih, dear brothers and sisters, is a beautiful word in Arabic that actually has a similar roots with the word sabaha, which means to actually swim. So what does swimming have to do with declaring the perfection of Allah Azza wa Jalla? The sibaha that I'm referring to is a type of swimming where you're floating on the water, not underneath it. And when you float, you stay on top of the thing such that the water is underneath you. As if Allah is telling us constantly declare my perfection, to always be rising and never ever sink in your mind and in your heart. That when you think of Allah, there shouldn't be one bad thought, one doubt about Him. That when you think of His beautiful attributes, you think of them as so perfect, so beautiful, so holy, so wholesome. This is the heart of the believer. He is so delighted to think of Allah, and no doubt or bad thought comes to his mind or her mind when they think of Allah. They don't start accusing Allah of anything. And Allah says, Sabbih, let me float above in your mind and in your heart, so to speak. Declare me by what? Praising me, bihamdi rabbi. Praise me and thank me. Thank Allah, dear brothers and sisters, for the month of Ramadan. Thank Allah that He empowered us to come. Thank Allah for the recitation of the Quran, for giving from our pockets for His cause, for helping people, for helping our families. It is by the blessing of Allah that He made you do these things. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. And then what's the next thing? Istighfar. وَاسْتَغْفِرْ. So first, night and day, you need to make tasbih of Allah. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Keep, declare the perfection of Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, those who do the tasbih are ahead of everybody. Ahead of everybody. No matter what they've done in this life, when they stand before Allah, those who remember Allah the most
are ahead of everybody. سَبَقَ الْمُقَرِّبِينَ. Second is istighfar. Istighfar. He's telling the Prophet ﷺ, after you witness the conquest and the mercy of Allah coming down to you in such incredible way, you need to make istighfar and seek forgiveness from Allah. Why? Why, dear brothers and sisters? How many of us think that at the end of the month of Ramadan, the thing we need to do the most is making istighfar? Dear brothers and sisters, to cover any shortcoming. Allah wants to forgive us, and He's telling us the thing that will preserve your deeds, that will preserve and purify your heart, is for you to be in a state of mind and heart where you're attributing any good to Allah, where you're so humble with Allah Azza wa Jal, lowering your head, that's why we're prostrate. But your tongue and your heart needs to be saying, oh Allah, it's a dua. This is a dua. Forgive me. Astaghfirullah. 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 But when you say it, don't roll your tongue without thought. This dua, supplication, is a serious supplication. Allah's telling the Prophet ﷺ and all of us, say it night and day. And listen to the words of Allah in the Quran. فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. Beautiful. Allah is instructing Nuh and his people. And it's actually Nuh telling his people, oh my people, make istighfar to Allah. And the believer who is intelligent understands what this expression, glorious expression means. They don't just say it. He says, say this dua night and day. Why? يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ, Allah will send special blessings onto you by virtue of your istighfar. What will He send? يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. He'll send the rain and the provision onto you in abundance. Those of us who are worried about provision, being poor, marriage, name it, make istighfar. Guaranteed from Allah in the Quran. He will send onto you rain in abundance. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, and He'll grant you wealth and children. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا, He'll grant you gardens, and He'll grant you greenery and crops. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah's telling you, I'll open my doors of mercy and provision for you. And spiritually, I'll purify your heart when you stand and seek my forgiveness. And when Allah tells you make istighfar, that means He wants to forgive and cover you and grant you these blessings. And I want to tell you something beautiful here that elevates you further to be among the best of those groups that get to be with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah says, make that istighfar. And the Prophet ﷺ additionally, I want to say this. He says, مَنْ لَزِمَ الْإِسْتِغْفَارَ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مِنْ كُلِّ ضِيقٍ فَرَجًا مِنْ كُلِّ هَمٍ مَخْرَجًا وَرَزَقَهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Further, to assure you, he says, whoever is constant on making istighfar with Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah will guarantee that these three things for him. جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مِنْ كُلِّ ضِيقٍ فَرَجًا. Out of every hardship, a way out. You have problems? How many of us think when we have problems, I'm going to go make istighfar? Sit down, I'm actually making istighfar, trusting Allah will open it. By Allah, Allah will open it. Just say it out of trust. Istighfar. And out of every affliction, every anxiety or distress, ease. Ease. Allah will ease your heart. Guaranteed when you make istighfar, with trust. And the third, وَرَزَقَهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah will open doors of provision, risk, out of places you least expect. All from istighfar. But Allah says something extra special in the Quran. وَالْمُسْتَغْفِرِينَ وَلَدْ بِالْأَسْحَارِ. He says, okay, there are people who make istighfar, and there's another category of people who make special istighfar at a special time. What is the time? Any time. But there's a special time out of all the times. Right before dawn. Right before Fajr. There is special people, and may Allah count us among them. In Ramadan we've been doing it. We've been rising up early. Allah's getting us used to these acts. Noble, angelic acts. He said there is a group of people that wakes up in the morning before Fajr. They start their day with devotion to Allah and this humility by saying istighfar. Before the adhan of Fajr. They're sitting down, your brothers and humbly saying what? Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Allah elevated this group, dear brothers and sisters, above all other groups. Subhanallah. So they make istighfar, but especially at that time. And that's a time of special blessings from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Don't miss it. We've done it in the month of Ramadan. How many of us will continue to rise before dawn when we can, inshallah. But at least at dawn to pray Fajr. Dear brothers and sisters, glad tidings to you. And I want to conclude with one beautiful thing to kind of open up your appetites. Indeed, dear brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ says, you shall indeed, when he was talking to his companions, you shall indeed see Allah as you see this moon in front of you. They said, like this moon is so clear. He said, but Allah, like you see this moon, there's nothing covering it on a full, when it's full and that's clear, in that clear night, you shall see Allah Azza wa Jal. And he says, you shall see Allah just as you see that clear sun without any clouds. And then he said, and if you wish, if you want that, dear brothers and sisters, he said the following, for you to really be in the presence of Allah, because there's no bliss or joy like it. No bliss or joy like it. He says, make sure that if you have the power to pray two prayers. The one before sunrise, which is Fajr, and what's the second prayer? To make sure you preserve it. Asr prayer. Why is that? Because these are two difficult prayers. The first prayer is difficult because we're sleeping, we're lazy, we don't want to get up. So the Prophet says, you get up at that time, you're going to be amongst the people honored by seeing Allah Azza wa Jalla. And the second, because we're working hard and we're tired late in the day, we keep delaying the prayer until probably the sun sets. Those who preserve it on time, 2 times will be blessed with something in the hereafter. Sight of Allah. Now I want to tell you something in conclusion. Those that are closest to Allah in the hereafter, you see, all the believers will see Allah. All the believers will be blessed by the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And when they see Allah, they cannot take their eyes off of Him. Their faces will be beaming with joy. He's the fulfillment of all desires. There's no joy like Allah Azza wa Jalla, and being in His company and seeing His face. You can't take your eyes off of Him. But the Prophet ﷺ tells us those highest, unlike the rest of the believers will see Him here and there. They'll get to see Allah twice each day. Bukratan wa asila. And what are the times corresponding to get us excited? Fajr and Layl. SubhanAllah. By the way, there's no night in Jannah. It's constant daylight. Beautiful daylight, not like this daylight. But the times correspond. Early in the day and late in the day, they'll get to see Allah twice each day, corresponding to what times? The times when they used to get up here on this earth, pray to Allah Fajr, and before Fajr do what? Make istighfar to Allah Azza wa Jalla. What a beautiful, glorious act, dear brothers and sisters. That I pray to Allah Azza wa Jalla that He blesses us with. Because it means, oh Allah, cover me. Ya Allah, I'm trusting in you, I'm making dua through you. Wallahi, dear brothers and sisters, sit down tonight, tomorrow, night and day, but get up before Fajr, take 5 minutes, and make this powerful dua to Allah by merely saying, oh Allah, I seek forgiveness from you. Oh Allah, I seek forgiveness from you. Istighfar, dear brothers and sisters, say it with trust. And by Allah, Allah will open those doors of provision for you. And inshallah, in the hereafter, if you put that desire in your heart, you will be amongst the people who are granted the sight of Allah, inshallah, twice each day in Jannah. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Allah protect us and accept all of our needs and worship and prayers and recitation and charity. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. May Allah bring us back tomorrow and bring us to the day of Eid as people who are forgiven completely. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم.